welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time, to my YouTube channel. I am so excited to do this little video with you today. I didn't know what to do to get started off in my little YouTube career. I say that very lightly. But one of the things I definitely wanted to do after my little get to know with me Q&A was my story. I'm going to share my story with you. That sounds like I've got something, some sort of traumatic past that I need to give you notice on. No, my sort of TikTok journey, how I gained followers on there, what video it was that blew me up, and how I got here today and what I am doing with this platform. So I'm dead excited. I've never really sat down and talked to you all properly about how I started TikTok and why and what I do on there and things like that. So yeah, let's go do it. Hopefully I'll have added in a transition there. Oh, I don't know. Still figuring it out. Right, I've written everything down. Don't worry, this isn't scripted. Hello, my name is Russell. So I started making videos on TikTok. So if you don't know me, my name's Lily, and I have 1.4 million followers on TikTok now, which is wild. I started making stupid videos when I was about 18 in sixth form on TikTok, and it was just for fun. Like when I did it with my mates, nothing really came of it. Yeah, I was just making trends and like just doing what everyone else does on TikTok, like just partaking in trends, and that was about it, making stupid videos. And then when we went into lockdown, I think it might have been just before lockdown actually, I made one video that just blew up. And you got to remember that this is the time when the app was just starting out, so videos were like really blowing up, and loads of people were getting like famous from it. It was a wild time to be alive. Anyway, so I made this one video, and it was that sound that goes, oh my god, if you're an OG old TikTok person, you'll know this. Like Tracy with the airs, Tracy with the Honda. Oops, baby. Is it Young Gravy? On your bitch like, oopsie daisy. Anyway, I'll insert the video for you here now, or a very small clip of it, because I'm so embarrassed for you to see it. Please don't scroll back. I need help, guys. You know this sound that's playing now? It's the... You mean like Tracy? Like Tracy with an ass? I want to use this sound, but I can't. Every time I try to trim it, there's only 30 seconds of it, and there's no Tracy bit. Help me. And yeah, that video blew up, mostly because everyone hated my voice. Because I was putting on like a whiny, like, guys, I need your help, like being really whiny, and everyone messaged me like, oh my god, your voice makes me want to die. And I was like, yeah, no, it makes me want to die too, like fair enough. And I got so much hate on it. Just so many people saying like, they really hate my voice, which is so fair enough, because that isn't the way I normally talk. And a lot of people still get annoyed with my voice now, but that's just because I'm quite nasally, but that's sort of a genetic thing. Anyway. So it blew up, but I never stopped posting. I just rolled with it, and I kept posting trends, and I kept like doing updates on that video, and that sort of kept me in the loop. And then I found my niche. I told a lie. I was so younger than that. I was 16, because I was in my first year of uni. 17 must have been when I like shot up. Well, 16 is when I started making videos, because I was working at Build-A-Bear. And when I was like 17, that's when I found my niche, which was the Build-A-Bear content. What is that? Oh, it's on my camera. Sorry. So what is that? You can't even see it. I got my job at 16, but we went into lockdown when I was 17. And that's when I started making the videos about the kids that I encountered at work and their families. And I made the Genuine Conversations I Have Had at Work series. And that shot me into the stratosphere. Like, for me, that blew my little mind. I think I went from 0 to 500k relatively quickly, probably about 600, and then I stagnated a bit between like 800. I was at 800 for ages, 800,000 and 900,000, and I hit a huge slump, and I was like, I'm never gonna get a million, it's never gonna happen for me, it's not meant to be, it's fine, isn't. And it made me sad, but I didn't let anyone know that I was sad, because I was like, this is just, it's not my job, it's just what I do at the side of being at uni. And then I did another huge video, and that catapulted me again straight to 1.3, and then I've been at 1.3 for ages. I've just hit 1.4, and it's like a slow climb here, I suppose. I'm just in a little bit of a slump again, but that's literally what social media is like. It's so turbulent. So I also, when I just started out, I used to dance for every 1,000 followers that I gained. You would never catch me. You couldn't waterboard that out of me now, actually. If you were like, dance, I'd be like, are you silly? I also go to dance and like actually do dance in my spare time, but dance for you I'd rather die. I'd rather die. But I will put in maybe a little video so you can, maybe just a little clip, like, so you can. See what I mean? Ooh. But yeah, I really hit my stride my first year of uni. That's when it took off. So I was gaining followers all through lockdown. I was like 400, 500k. Then I got to uni and I started drinking and I got the most amazing stories out of it. I did all sorts. I went swimming in fountains. I did that twice. I had to be carried to bed. I was, you know, the craziest I've ever been, which, by the way, is not actually that crazy. But just for me, I set myself a new bar. I made loads of videos about the stories about that because obviously I had to leave Build-A-Bear, and I started my Crystal Girl series, and that took off as well. People loved the Crystal Girl, and it was sort of me taking the piss out of people that have crystals, and they're like, oh, this is going to heal my energy. That's actually me. Like, I was taking the piss out of myself because I'm such a crystal girl at heart. But don't tell anyone. So yeah, that held me through uni, and then I think it was the summer between my second and my third year is when I posted the headband video with the snails, the snail headband, and that shot me straight from like 950,000 to 1.3 million in the space of like 2 weeks. It was wild. I have never seen growth like that in my life, and it just, I think that video is sitting at like 3.6 million likes now, which is crazy for me. Like, it's this whole thing. I just hope everyone knows it's not lost on any of us that do this job how absolutely wild it is. And when I get to say to people, I'm like, oh, so you do TikTok, how many followers you got? And I'm like, 1.4 million. And that, ooh, it blows my mind every single time. And it's crazy that this is my whole job, and I would not even have it if it wasn't, I wouldn't have it at all if it wasn't for you guys. Like, oh, it's crazy. But yeah, I used TikTok as a side hustle while I was at uni. I was studying and then doing TikTok on the side. So whenever someone used to say to me, oh, you do TikTok, I was like, well, I'm a student, but I do TikTok on the side because I never wanted to say to myself it was my full-time job, because I never, hot take, I really never wanted social media to be my full-time job. It is right now. Well, ironic, but I said I'm going to do it for a year and see if I like it. And if I like it, then I'll carry on. If not, I might go and do my masters and get a bit more studying in, because I don't feel like I'm ready for a big girl job yet. And also, the thing is, doing TikTok has sort of taken away my... TikTok in some ways has made it a little bit harder for me to get a job now because you imagine, like, I want to go into like researching jobs, maybe history, something like that. I can't be a teacher because what if the kids have seen me on TikTok? I'll get rinsed for the rest of my life. I want to do secondary school, so like, who would put themselves through that hell? And I can't do any like officially jobs that I'd have to be vetted for. I've got such a huge digital footprint that they'd probably be like, oh, we don't want you at our company. So yeah, now it is my full-time job and I'm trying to rinse it, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful, but this, I'm not like, wow, I'm so in love with my job is amazing. I'm such a stare at the numbers and make myself go crazy person that it's actually quite a big stress on my brain, this job, because all I do is watch if my followers go down, I'm depressed for a week. If my followers go up, I'm like, well, it means nothing. I'm such a pessimist when it comes to TikTok now because it's my job and I know it's all I have. Like, I'm so focused on the analytics that, like, oh, and my management messaged me and they're like, can you send us your analytics? I'm like, I have to build myself up to look at the page because it makes me so depressed. Anyway, that was lighthearted. So yeah, I don't know. When it's going well, it's the best job in the world. And when it's not, it's like the worst job in the world, but also amazing. Like, sorry, I hit the mic. I can't detract from the fact I am incredibly lucky to be doing this. But sometimes it is a bit harder than I thought it was going to be. I started my podcast when I was in my 3rd year of uni, in like the September that I started, which was stupid. I was always like, oh, I'll do it in the summer when I've got time. Silly me, I didn't do it in the summer when I got time because it took so much planning. I started it in the September, and then once I hit my exam period in my final year, doing all my 3rd year exams and my dissertation and writing everything, I was like, I can't do it. I can't plan a podcast, I can't organise guests, I can't make TikToks at the same time as studying and revising and taking exams. It's just too much for me, so I had to drop the podcast. But that was fine. I think I needed the time to make it what I wanted to make it, and now slowly I'm building that up now while I've got the time to and while I'm being full-time. And I edit it all myself, I film it all myself, this is all my set. I make clips, I do everything. I am producer, host, everything. And my podcast is really it is a bit of a passion project for me because I just like waffling, and some of you like to see long form content, so that's what I like to make. But it is really for me to get a bit of long form presenting experience, because I want to go into history, documentary, television presenting. So television presenting, but really specific, because I've got a history degree and I'd love to use it, and I'm so interested in it, and I'd love to be just sort of, I wanted to be really knowledgeable on what I was talking about. So I got my history degree, and I want to do history, documentary, television presenting, which might be so boring to everybody else, but to me that is like the most exciting thing in the world. So what I need to do for that is obviously get experience, and spending as much time in front of the camera as possible happens to be experience. So my podcast is great for that. It's like, just makes me happy, and that's all that I need it to be honest. Also, I never used to, what I don't talk about a lot is that I get a bit of hate now. Like, I never used to get any hate. I was super lucky my whole time, like, until I sort of stagnated at 1.3 million, I didn't get much hate, apart from when I first started out and everyone was hating on my voice. I've always had that odd, like, oh my god, your voice is really nasally, that's quite annoying. But now I have like serious committed haters, like, that just live to comment on my videos, and I'm lucky that there's not loads, but I do get like some scary DMs, and I get the odd like nasty comment. And everyone says in this industry, everyone that you talk to will always say when they talk about hate, you've just got to ignore it, you've just got to rise above it. These are people that like spend their time doing things to make you unhappy, like, don't pay any attention to them. And it's like, yeah, oh no, of course, no, I never. But also, it's also my job, and so all I do is stare at comments, all I do is read DMs, like, my whole life is on my social media, and so when that is used against me, it's obvious to me, and it's what I look at every single day. So then it becomes hard, and then I also think to myself now, I've developed the ideology that they're attacking my personality. I'm so entitled to feel sad and so entitled to feel angry about it, and it's sort of embracing that and then letting that go. I'm not one of the person that be like, I don't believe you. I will believe you, and I'll think about it for 10 days, and then I'll be like, okay, yeah, no, obviously you just made that up, because like I internalise everything. Yeah, I get more now, but the more I get, the more I'm dealing with it better, actually, because the more I can think to myself, well, it's not nice, and it makes me upset, but it's not making me upset because it's a problem with me. It's a problem with you, and then I can turn that around. So that's something I've definitely grown into and become a little bit more mature about, and it does still, get you down sometimes, but it's not something you can focus on. And if I was sad about it every hate comment I ever got, I'd be sad a lot. So if I read all of my DMs, I would have so many freaky stalkers. So you can't focus on things like that. I don't do any series anymore on my TikTok. Like, I had the Build-A-Bear series and the Crystal Girl series. I had a couple of others as well, but they were my best ones. I don't do series anymore, or sketches and things like that, but I do a couple of sketches. But if you'd like me to start doing them again, definitely let me know. I don't know what I'd do them on. Maybe I'll continue the Crystal Girl series, but yeah, let me know. Maybe I'd like to get into something like that again. A lot of people ask me about confidence and how I had the confidence to start doing this, because they're scared. I had a really, really close circle of friends when I started doing this. They were the only people that followed me on TikTok, so they were the only people I thought were going to see the videos. But I never made my account private, so it just blew up, and then I was sort of catapulted into it. And I was too far gone. By the time you've got one video that's blown up and you're completely embarrassed in it, you might as well carry on. Do you know what I mean? I'm not an overly confident person in real life. I'm quite anxious. I'm quite shy. You won't believe me. That's why I have to drink at any networking event I go to, because I cannot function. I can't speak to you normally if I haven't had at least 3 Malibus. So sorry about that, but also not sorry at all to anyone that hosts an event and invites me. Online confidence is so different to in-person confidence. Online confidence, I have so much more than I have in person, but it's because there's no one else in this room with me. Like, I can say whatever I like. I can shout as loud as I want to. I can be as weird as I like, because it feels like there's no one else here. Whereas I then put it out and, I'm not in the moment interacting with you when you see this video. So I think that's why, it is so different. But don't worry, everyone is a little bit weird. Everyone is weird. And the people who judge you for being weird are just embarrassed about their own weird. So take it all in your stride. One thing I've never talked about is my brand deals. So as a comedy sort of lifestyle content creator, it is a little bit harder to get brand deals than it is for like a beauty influencer or someone who has a specific niche in like fashion, because then you can pair with all like the fashion brands or the beauty brands. You can get paid like that. So I've done some really random brand deals, but this is my only source of income. So you got, when people are like, oh, you've sold yourself out. Yeah, this is it. I've got no money. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm going to do a collab, a random collab with a random app for £500. So the first collab that I ever did was, don't get me wrong, if there's something I'm against or something I've not actually I would never endorse, then I would never. I've turned down brand deals before, obviously, if I'm like against the brand or if I've never worked with them and I don't trust their products, like I'm not going to endorse them. Or if it's just really weird. But my first ever brand deal was for I Saw It First. And I remember getting a text from my manager being like, do you want to try on some clothes for I Saw It First? They'll send you the clothes and they'll pay you £500. And I was like, oh my God. I think I had like 500, 600k at this point. And you could start brand deals so much earlier now, but you couldn't then. And I was like, £500, that is wild. So I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to do it. And I didn't get management until I had 500, 600k either. And you can get management at like 10k now, which is crazy. So yeah, I waited all that time. I didn't interact with any brands. And then just after that, when I first moved to uni, I did a big collab. I won't give you all my all my bank details on all the collabs I've done, but I did a collab with TikTok Shop, and it was like only my 3rd or 4th ever paid brand deal, and they wanted to pay me £3,600 to make 3 2-hour-long live streams with them, 2 at my own house and then 1 in their studios in Manchester. And I was like, that blew my head off. £3,600 for 6 hours of work. And they sent me hundreds of pounds worth of stuff to put in the lives. And I was like, oh my, this is when TikTok Shop was just blowing up. It was just starting off. They just made it so they wanted to get influencers in to obviously create all the content for them. Oh my God, it blew my head off. I remember going into my flatmates and I was like, guys, we're all going out for a meal and I'm going to pay for it, because the amount that TikTok's paying me is wild. And still, to this day, that's still one of my highest paying brand deals. Depends on what money you make. I think there's a big conception that if you do influence and you make a lot of money, like I wouldn't say I make a lot of money. I make probably slightly more than the average for my age, probably a bit more than the average for my age, but no more than if I was working a 9 to 5 for a year. Do you know what I mean? It's about the same. But it definitely depends on who you are and what brands want to work with you, what your content fits with, because ultimately brands pick and choose who they want to work with. So yeah, that definitely makes a difference. You can have 2 content creators that you think are pretty similar and they'll work very differently with different brands. So it massively depends on who you are and what kind of content you make. It's a turbulent industry, but I'm liking the craziness at the minute, and I'm loving getting into long form content. I'm liking talking a bit more seriously to you and not being silly all the time, even though I do like being silly. Ew, I made myself cringe there. So yeah, if you want me to make an in-depth video on my tips and tricks on how to grow your following, then let me know. We can make a specific one for that. And if you want to know anything else, if you are interested in anything else said, then let me know what you want me to make any more videos on in the description. I'm going to link my TikTok and my Instagram if you want to go and have a look at that. I interact with you guys mostly on my Instagram. It's lily_aneva.x if you want to find me. And that's where I do my polls and I ask you loads of questions and all that stuff always ends up in the pod and ends up in YouTube videos as well. So yeah, let me know if you want to see anything else from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.